Consciousness is so vital. Right now, it is so important that we actually are conscious of whether we are manifesting fear or being the effect of fear, or whether we are manifesting love. Are we trying to manipulate somebody? Are we trying to get something from somebody and not just ask them but try to get it? Are we trying to make somebody guilty for a choice they've made if that choice doesn't align with our agenda for ourselves and our own motivations? You know? So that's consciousness. At this point in time, particularly now, and this is very timely, because particularly for right now, until June 23rd, 2021, there are many portals that are open, and there's, as you may possibly be aware of, or maybe not, I have no idea, but many are. The battle we're in right now on this planet, it has nothing to do with Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives. It has nothing to do with any sort of stuff like that. It doesn't have anything to do with, anything. The only thing it has to do with what's going on on the planet right now is it's a war, and it's a spiritual war. And the teams are good and evil. Good, the highest, the admiral of good, so to speak, is God. And the admiral of evil, so to speak, well, pick the opposite end of the spectrum and picture it. You got it. That's the evil. Now there are armies on both sides. Pick your side and pick it fast. And pick it and make a stand on it, okay? Because you don't have a lot more time left. Not that the Earth's going to blow up or anything like that, but there is a shift coming. Well, it is here now, actually, big time. But it's going to be more visible, more prevalent, more in your face in the next 3 weeks, month. So it's a damn good time to, pick your side and get your footing and stand bloody firm. Don't be afraid to say your truth. Don't say it making another wrong or trying to convince another of it. That's not your business. You have no business doing that. Your business is just to stand pure and honest in your own truth. And for that, you got to be honest with yourself first. You're not going to be able to be honest with another person if you cannot be honest with yourself. If you're saying to another person, well, I'm telling you this because I really want you to get on board and you need to know this and you need to do this. And if you don't, you're to blame and you are guilty. And if you don't, you're going to make me feel bad because you're not doing what is good for me. That's all crap. That is ego. That is, you just fell into one of the biggest traps laid for you. That's what you just did. That ain't how it goes. The way it goes is you stand in your truth. You don't have to force it on anybody. You don't have to, whatever. If you feel the inclination to speak your truth, you speak it. But you speak it from a place of, it's my truth. Like it, don't like it, take it, leave it. It has nothing to do with me, what you do with my truth. It doesn't matter to me. I will put it there, or I won't. I may not feel the need or the inclination to speak a truth at that moment. 5 minutes later, I may. But I'm not going to take and color my truth with the filterings of an ego that's going to try to make me feel like my truth is more important than your truth. It's not. Your truth is your truth. It's your path. It's your journey. It's your thing. It has nothing to do with me. I know mine. And I'm learning more about mine like every passing moment. because my truth resonates with me. And it resonates because it leaves me space, peace, freedom, contentment, and sovereignty. And it leaves me with a total security in the fact that nothing bad's going to ever happen to me. Nothing. I've never worn a mask. I've not had a vaccine. I mean, to actually, be completely, as they say, transparent, to be completely visible and transparent, I don't go into many stores hardly ever. When I have gone into stores or public places, I don't have a mask on. It's very, very rare, like 0.002% of the time when anybody will ever say anything to me. I walk between the raindrops on that because I don't put anything there to attack me with. I just don't do it. It's not in my space. I don't have any trouble. But right now, it's a tough time for many people, and I'm really well aware of that. But you know what? It's probably the greatest gift you've ever been given. Because with this gift of all of this that's going on right now, you have the biggest opportunity you've ever had. And that opportunity is to find your truth. It does not come from an official. It does not come from the, quote, science, unquote. Only if you inspect that science for yourself. And I don't mean just inspecting it by looking at the words that somebody's saying. No. Actually inspect. Look further than what you're being told. Don't go to mainstream media. Those guys lie all the time, for one thing. If you go there, fine, go there, but you're going to get lies. But it's an opportunity for everybody to consult their own truth. And who are they? Your truth will guide you to who you are. Your truth will guide you to what you're made of. What are you made of? Are you in God's army? Or are you on, the side of the other guy? There's people who are on the side of the other guy and they don't even know they are. They're forwarding agendas of the dark side and they have no idea they're doing it. No idea. Many are forwarding the agendas of the dark side. They know damn well what they're doing. That Aaron O'Toole, that guy, holy crap. I saw a photograph of him like months ago now. He was with about 3 or 4 of his other guys. They were, I don't know, having some sort of a party at a golf course or whatever. And they all had on red shoes. I looked at that picture and I almost got physically sick. I know what red shoes mean. I know full well what that means. I know what the signaling is on that. And if you don't know what red shoes mean, I'm not going to tell you right here, but you bloody look it up. You find it, you Google it, you search it. Don't Google on Google, though. Google on DuckDuckGo. You won't find it on Google because they hide shit like that. But you look at what red shoes mean. Look at what that is signifying. Right then and there, I knew that guy was very, very evil. I knew it. And I will not look at any communication from him because I know where he's coming from. I know what he's done. Okay? And I know what he's pushing and forwarding. There are others that are not. Sometimes you'll get a person that just is, quote, doing their job. You know what? No excuse. You're doing your job. You're consulting the bullshit of somebody who's telling you to do something. That's not your own truth. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But you got to explore it for yourself. You can't just accept it. What are you doing accepting shit? What are you doing? Accepting things without actually looking to see the validity of what it is you're actually accepting. Like, these people that are forcing other people, they're forcing their other human being brothers and sisters from any sex, any culture, any color, any race, doesn't even matter. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with one human being enforcing a power, an assumed power they've been given by somebody who's very dark, to actually subdue, suppress, submerge, and decimate another fellow brother or sister, one of God's children. You are, not you maybe particularly, but you know what I mean. You are one of God's children. You have many brothers and sisters. We're all over this planet. We have to stand beside each other. We have to support each other. We cannot forward an agenda that is designed to wipe out the rest of our consciousness. We can't do it. And if we continue to do it, well, It won't affect me because I'm not going there and I'm not there and I will never be there. But it's going to affect your children. It's going to affect other people. It's going to affect. There is a collective consciousness. There's a collective consciousness. What gets dumped into that collective, that consciousness collective, is the emotions and feelings and energies of every person on this planet. That's what gets dumped into the collective consciousness. When we put into that collective consciousness dissension, duality, debate, blame, shame, regret, pain, anger, any of those things, we're dumping something into that collective that is affecting other consciousness on this planet and in that collective. When we put into that collective love, understanding, compassion, space, creativity, true appreciation for another one of your brothers or your sisters for their differences, when we put that into the collective, that's what we get back. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? Think about that for a minute, okay? Just think about it. Think about what you're putting into the collective consciousness. Do you think it ends with you? Do you think your consciousness ends with your body? I said to somebody one time, I was talking to this man, and we were talking about energy and feelings and emotions and stuff, and I said to him, if you were to draw a line between you and I as to where my energy stops and yours starts, can you do that? He thought about it and he says, no, of course you can't. Our energies join. Our energies are intermingled. Our energies are entangled. We have entanglements with all kinds of different beings, You got to know when to untangle the web. I never step away from anyone. I may untangle that line and I may snip it and just let it hang free, put a knot on the end so it can't be picked up too easily. But I'll never take the person off my radar, never. And I'll never stop my love or my understanding or my compassion for them, never. It just means I won't entangle with what their consciousness is. I just won't do it. Because, not that there's anything wrong with their consciousness, there isn't. Their consciousness is theirs. They have a right to that. Free will. We all have free will. They have a right to that. It's just that I also have a right. And my right is that I don't want to entangle with that consciousness, and so I won't. It doesn't mean that it's bad, or it doesn't mean it's good. It hasn't got anything to do with bad or good. It's not even a facet in this. It has to do with frequency. What's your frequency? What do you want connecting with your frequency? What do you don't want? Or what do you not want? So, consciousness, right now, even if you can only do it for like the next week, it's only going to be a week till June 23rd, everything you can possibly do to monitor your emotion and what you are dumping into the collective, everything you can do to keep that at a high frequency, please do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for God. Do you think God doesn't need the help right now? Do you think God doesn't need that? Why do you think he's got a whole family? I mean, you've got a family, maybe. I don't particularly, but you do. You have maybe children, and they get to be teenagers, and what do? They mow the lawn for you. Or your family helps you, your family supports you. Well, we're God's family. We're supposed to support and help God. What the hell are we doing? Supporting and helping the dark forces. What are we doing? When we do anything that goes against the sovereignty and the truth of one of God's children, who has God inside of him or her, when we do anything to harm that other being, we are actually operating on the dark side. That's what we're doing. We're feeding the beast. We are feeding the beast. And let me tell you right now, too, it is my truth. It's my resonance. It's what's true for me. It may not be for many. It's what's my truth. Alcohol and drugs, junk food, McDonald's, massive amounts of sugar, deep fried grease, animals that have been slaughtered where they're just absolutely filled with terror and adrenochrome, or certainly, I better not say that word, when they're filled with adrenaline from their horrors they're going through at slaughter. When you fill your body with that stuff, you're opening portals to the dark side. That's what you're doing. That is what you're doing. That's what those systems are designed to do. That is what they are designed for and have been designed for a long, long time. Because the more human beings that forget who they are, they forget who they are, they forget who their father is, they forget who their family are. Those beings, many of them are not going to be having a very good future, okay? They'll eventually make it. They eventually will. Because there are enough of us on the planet currently who are actually aware of this and are taking steps within themselves to do the inner work. And in doing the inner work, they find their own truth. Or I should say, we find our own truth. And when we find our own truth, we can then stand in our own truth to our brothers and our sisters. They'll hear or they won't. They'll see or they won't. And that's not our choice, it's theirs. And we have to honor that. So right now, if you possibly can get anything out of this, I'm happy about that. If you don't, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. We all have tremendous amounts of power. That's what God gave us. We have within us the power of our Father. We are of our Father. We are of God. We have that power. It is right inside of us. It's not out in a church somewhere. Our power is not in the hands of a Jesuit priest. Our power is not there. The power of God is within every one of us. The power of God is in the grass blade that's sitting right beside me right now. See if I can show you some of them. They're just absolutely beautiful. And keep in mind, I cannot see a thing about what I'm videoing. I have no idea because the sun is very, very bright. So I am just guessing. But, look at those trees. Hopefully I'm getting them in. Look at those trees. Look at the power of God in those trees. Look at the God. Look at God in those trees. They're just teeming with the beautiful Spirit of God. Animals are like that as well. I'm going to talk about animals a different day. I have some pretty fascinating stories to tell you about my friend the squirrel. I have a squirrel. My squirrel visits me and stays with me every day on the deck. My squirrel loves me. I love my squirrel. But that's a different story for a different day. I think I've probably talked enough right now. And also it's getting pretty hot out here on the riverbank. I just saw a fish jump out of the water and go back down. I didn't video it unless somehow the camera caught it, but no. A little fish just jumped out of the water and went back into the water. And that, my brothers and my sisters, my family, that's God, right there in that fish. That's God. I just want to tell you, no matter how or no matter what the circumstances or the times, I love you. I love humanity. I love my sisters, my brothers. I love our Father very, very much. I love Jesus very much. You call in Jesus to stand beside you in these next times. Jesus doesn't screw around, okay? Jesus is right there and very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Jesus is right there holding your hand, putting his arms around you, and you are protected. But you keep doing the dark shit, you're not. You're going to go to the dark side and you will be used by the dark side. Just let me say that. You will be used by the dark side. Because right now it's very, very important for the dark side, who are in the last throes of their death. It's very important for them to make a last vigil attempt to take down you and to take down me. You're not going to take down me. I surround myself with my protective energy. I've got God protecting me. I've got the angels protecting me. Archangel Michael's been protecting me my entire life. Thank you, Michael. Archangel Metatron has recently come into... He doesn't protect me so much because Michael's doing that job. Archangel Metatron, what Metatron does is he gives me clarity. He lets me see my guidance. He gives me guidance. And I pray to him for the strength I need to follow the guidance I'm getting from my guides. And you know what? They're doing a pretty good job right now. They're helping me an awful lot. I'll tell you more stories another day. I've had literal miracles happen with my body lately. And it's just simply because I know what side I'm on. Please pick wisely. There's not a lot of time left. Please choose wisely. And if you spend some time with yourself, just go with yourself. Consult yourself. Don't consult your mind. Your mind is filled with lies. That's where patterns are. Don't go there. Consult your heart. That's where the truth is. The truth is in your heart. It's not in your mind. Having said that, thank you. And I love you, and I am so on your side. I am so on the side of you. And I mean you. You who have ears to hear, who have eyes to see, even you who don't. I'm on your side. I love you.